Hey everybody out there in YouTube land. Good times for all. There's Zachary the Bottle here if you prefer. I am just getting off a call with TFR. So give me just 1 second here. Yeah, I'm gonna say goodbye real quick. Oh, there they go again. Just don't want to be too rude. Hope you're all having a good time. Whatever time it is for you. Alright, I'm gonna have to give me 1 second here. I'm trying to listen to what they're saying. I just wanted to start on time. Working on a hip hat. It's been a really good week so far. Getting a lot done. Shout out to AMAC and Fan. The little man's doing so good, getting so big, learning. Babies are amazing. His daughter's amazing. Addie, she's great. So smart. Hold on, I gotta give me 1 sec, folks. I just can't get a second. This just Walton. I can't remember her name. It's hard to get him to stop talking. Yeah. Any marshmallows? Hey, Liz. No, she and Walt are talking right now. And I don't want to stop the conversation. It's a good one. Yeah, she was very interesting. Sarah. Talking about some wild stuff. Oh, it's beautiful here. Sun's coming out, is out, and it's warm already. Over 60. February, that's amazing. Never had a winter without snow. This has been wonderful. This is what I was looking for. Stuff in Croatia is going very well, I guess. My buddies had a meeting with a couple officials, Minister of Foreign Investments and the Minister of um, Agriculture, maybe. And now he has to speak with the Minister of Health this upcoming week. And if that all goes well with the Minister of Health, then actually I don't know. I don't know how many hoops. They're not even sure how many hoops they're going to have to jump through. It is working with a government, you know? So it's going to be whatever they want it to be, really. Jump through as many hoops, have as many meetings, all that kind of nonsense. And it's crazy over there. My buddy, he's doctors over there are making $600 a month. A month. The doctors are. So he can live off of his just the stuff he gets from his retirement from the military. He can live over there like a king, pretty much. Yeah, it's pretty wild. I don't understand how that works. I don't understand how a doctor over there can do something and heal somebody or set somebody's arm and get paid, this much, whilst a doctor over here will do the exact same thing and get paid 10 times more. So money is really just an imaginary thing. Yeah. Give me 1 second, everybody. Saying goodbye to Sarah and Walt. Yeah, I'm here. Yes, you too, Sarah. Yeah, I'm more of the sit back and listen type. I like to hear other people's stories a lot. I've told my story so many times. I've been doing the YouTube thing and stuff like that, and been on Ironworks. Yeah, I have a YouTube channel that I'm actually live right now on YouTube. I do a thing called Crocheters Corner, where I just sit and crochet and talk about what's been going on. I know, so do I. I wanted to learn to knit so bad. I have the needles and everything, but I've never had somebody show me how. I've tried to learn, but I want to see it like firsthand. Yeah, my mom taught me how to crochet actually when I was probably 15, 14. Yeah, I made a bunch of hats. I made a hat for Walt. I've made one for Josh, one of our buddies overseas. Oh yeah, I'll make you one. I just got done nomading around the country. I'm at a buddy's in Florida. I'm getting ready to move to Croatia to grow hemp and make some CBD oil. Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, my buddy, he's a military guy. I met him on my. I went on a walkabout for about 4 months out in the desert, and I'm gonna get ready to turn 40 here in about a month. Yeah, okay. But yeah, I've always wanted to do it, and I decided I'm gonna go do it. It was the timing was right, and yeah, I met this guy out there, and he grew cannabis up in Michigan medicinally, and he knew some people. Yeah, he would, and he has it down to a science. You know, he does all indoor hydroponic stuff, and he knows some people that knew some people over there in Eastern Europe where it's just starting to become legal to use CBD oil. I mean, cannabis is still like 3 years minimum if you get caught with it. It's, yeah, it's very serious. Exactly. They have no right to say it was illegal ever. So, wow, they're back talking. Walt's back. So I'm gonna let them go. Give me 1 second here. Me too. Oh, sorry, all. I'm listening to what they're talking about here. I don't want to be rude, but I'm gonna cut in and say my goodbyes. Excuse me, guys. I'm gonna get going here. I'm live on YouTube, Crocheters Corner. But yes, Sarah, this was so much fun. We got to do it again for sure. Oh, thank you so much. We'll talk to you here soon. All right. Good night, Walt. Love you too. See you. All righty, folks. Very, very cool lady. Um, Sarah, man, she's one of those people that I always quote to Plato. I go back to Plato. Sute, how we doing? Execrate 200. No, I don't think so either. Not yet. I think that's what they want to do, and but you never know. I don't know what these little machines are capable of doing. Um, you never know. I assume the worst and hope for the best. Is that how they say it? Yeah, I'm not sure about all the AI and the computer stuff, and I really don't. I know they're spraying stuff above our heads. I mean, that's pretty obvious. Um, call it whatever you want. I wouldn't call it a contrail because I don't believe that they are called contrails. What is being put up there? I can remember when it started back in the 90s. I was 13 or 14, so that'd be 94, 95, somewhere right around there. I used to sit and watch the skies all the time. I would watch the skies and I would watch a contrail when it would happen. It would be about this long up in the sky, you know, maybe half a degree, just like the width of the sun or the moon, maybe a little bit longer, maybe a degree. But it took 18 seconds. I used to count it. I used to count it all the time. And I'd put like a branch, I'd line up a branch with the tail of the plane and I'd count. And it would always be right around 18 seconds to where that contrail would dissipate and the end of the contrail would hit, you know, the contrails didn't last forever. They would always go away back in the day. Always. And then all of a sudden, these planes that, and the contrail planes, the ones that made those were always seemed to be further, like higher up almost. I don't, it was weird. And then all of a sudden they started with the, let's use their terminology, high altitude aerosol dispersal units or whatever they want to call it. That's not a chemtrail. That's a high altitude aerosol dispersal blah 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 blah. You're stupid if you think it's a chemtrail. I'm sick of semantics. I'm sick of word salad, word games, all the nonsense. And then people believe in that stuff. That's the part that gets me. It's not so bad the people doing it. I mean, it is. But the people that listen to this nonsense, I don't know. They were hitting on a lot of things this morning. Kind of got me a little triggered. Stuff they are doing like it's out of a science fiction movie almost. And you would like to think there's masterminds behind all of this, but is there really? Do they know what they're doing? Or is it some lunatic like Bill Gates saying, oh, we need to get the population as close to zero as we can? And laugh about it. Yeah, I don't know, folks. It's one reason I'm looking forward to going over to a different part of the plane for a while. Stuff around here is going to get a little bit more exciting than I'm used to, I think. The Mars, lunar, blah, blah, blah. Here, let's check this out. Let's see. Okay. Cover up my face. First rover finally died, they say. It's such a joke. Yeah, we didn't have a chance to do space lettuce at all. I love when we have guests like that that have so much that they'd like to say. A moon rush. This is the latest news, according to space.com. NASA wants commercial lunar delivery services to start this year. A favorite Star Trek Discovery character makes a return in Saints of Imperfection. Is that really news for space? A Star Trek character? Yeah, it did, Liz. It always goes by when we have good guests like that. 2 hours just isn't enough. The National Geographic second edition of Space Atlas will leave you starstruck. Plasma waves are cooking electrons in Earth's magnetic shields. SpaceX protests NASA's launch contract award. On this day in space is when the meteor exploded over Russia, they say. Back in 2013 over Chelyabinsk, something like that. Okay, we got to read the lunar delivery services to start this year. Delivery to what? What are you delivering to the moon? Here we go. Come on. No, I don't. What the heck? Just want to scroll down. Hey, what's up, Just Jack? Working on a beanie here. It's not letting me scroll. Okay. Listen to this nonsense. NASA is eager to get back to the surface of the moon. Yeah, they seem like they've been super eager lately, haven't they? In November, the agency tagged 9 American companies as eligible to bid on delivering robotic NASA payloads to the moon via Commercial Lunar Payload Services (CLPS) contracts. Thursday, the 14th of February, NASA officials announced that the first task order for such a delivery will likely come out in a month or so. And that flight is expected to follow in relatively short order. I love how they never give dates for anything. It's going to happen soon. And then the next step will happen shortly thereafter. You know, not weeks after, not months after, not a year after, shortly. So it could be 3 decades. That's what we meant. We consider that to be short. Yeah, exactly, Jack. It's only been 50 years, but they're eager. Okay. Scroll down a little bit so I don't have to stop. For us, if we had any wish, I would like to fly this calendar year. Thomas Zerbuchin, Associate Administrator for NASA's Science Mission Directorate, said during a webcast media roundtable at agency headquarters in Washington. So he would like to get it done this year. this calendar year. We care about speed. We want to start taking shots on goal, he said, noting that NASA will provide the eligible companies with financial incentives to get off the ground faster. So yeah, we're just going to need more money. That's all it is. We're going to need some more of your money, folks. Don't worry about it. NASA is willing to take some risks in these early days to help spur the development of the CLPS program and the commercial lunar delivery business as a whole, he said. We do not expect that every one of those launches or every one of those landings will be successful. So they want to send robots to the moon. So we don't need to send people there anymore. We're going to send them, build a base, and it's going to be all set up. And then when we send people, we're going to incapacitate them and knock them out. And then when they wake up, they'll be there. And it'll be the moon. Okay, let's see, where are we at? The 9 companies NASA selected in November are Astrobotic, Deep Space Systems, Draper, Firefly Aerospace, Intuitive Machines, Lockheed Martin Space, Maston Space Systems, Moon Express, and Orbit Beyond. These outfits will compete to tote a variety of payloads over the coming months and years, NASA officials have said. For example, some launches will carry scientific instruments intended to help solve moon mysteries, whereas others will deliver resource prospecting gear and other technology demonstrations designed to pave the way for human settlement. What a crock of shit. The main lunar resource to be exploited, at least initially, is water. The lunar surface has lots of this stuff, locked up as ice on the permanently shadowed floors of polar craters. This water will aid lunar settlement and further exploration, and not just by slacking astronauts' thirst, NASA officials say. Water can also be split into its constituent hydrogen and oxygen, the chief components of rocket fuel. Oh, jeez. Yeah, this is absolutely. It should be considered fraud. One would think. But when you are, part of the show, in the club, so to say, you're allowed to do all kinds of things. The CLPS program is just part of NASA's broad moon exploration plan, which prioritizes an open architecture that encourages cooperation with many commercial and international partners. Indeed, NASA wants to be the commercial lander's first, but not only, customer. One of the most critical pieces of this plan is a small space station called the Gateway, in which NASA aims to start building in lunar orbit in 2022. So by 2022, they want to start building an ISS over there in lunar orbit. Gateway will be a hub for many kinds of lunar exploration, including sorties to the surface by landers both crewed and uncrewed. If everything goes according to plan, oh, I love it. If everything goes according to plan, NASA astronauts will take their first such sortie in 2028. So just about almost a decade away. 56 years after Apollo 17 crew members left the last boot prints on the lunar surface. But NASA isn't aiming to repeat the Apollo's flag and footprints strategy, Agency Chief Jim Bridenstine stressed during today's roundtable. He stressed it. I bet he was so stressed that he stressed it. If everything goes according to plan, NASA astronaut takes blah 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 blah. Okay, but NASA's okay. Blah, the round table. Here we go. In quotation marks. This time when we go to the moon, we're actually going to stay. Bridenstine said. Oh, oh man, we're going to stay. It's also important, he added, to build as many capabilities into the system as possible that can replicate it for an eventual crewed mission to Mars. Okay, hold on. It's also important, he added, to, now this is in quotation marks, build as many capabilities into the system as possible that can replicate it for an eventual mission to Mars. I think there should be a B in there. That can be replicated as possible that can replicate it for an eventual mission to Mars. In quotations, when you're, I mean, did he actually say that? Because that makes him sound stupid, doesn't it? Build as many capabilities into the system as possible that can replicate it for an eventual mission to Mars. Is that why they put it into quotations? Okay, and I think that's it for the story. Mike Wall's book about the search for alien life out there. He's the one who wrote this nonsense. Moon rush. Everybody's rushing to get. Bunch of nonsense. Let's see what else we got. What else was? What was the other story? I just felt like doing some space lettuce. I haven't seen any of this stuff in a while. Who cares about a favorite Star Trek character being a new person on a different? Okay. Plasma waves are cooking electrons in Earth's magnetic shield. I guess we'll take a look at this one. So some interesting stuff. Been trying to figure out how they measure the electric field at high altitudes. And it seems like you have to be grounded in order to measure the electrical difference, the potential difference. And they haven't really gone that high and done this. Okay, plasma waves are cooking electrons in Earth's magnetic shield. Okay, a colorful illustration shows a spacecraft of the magnetospheric multi-scale mission passing through a plasma of space. Now listen to this. Space is warm, or at least warmer than it should be, all across the universe, including in our own solar system. Astronomers have found that the nearly empty places between the stars and galaxies and other matter contain more heat than existing knowledge can fully explain. Wow. The what's cooking the void. Okay, now they're saying okay, I'm just going to keep reading instead of find out who's saying this. So, what's cooking the void? A new study conducted in space might offer an answer. Plasma waves banging into electrons. It's one of the 18 biggest unsolved mysteries of physics. They might as well say it's one of the 18 biggest unsolved mysteries of it should be astrophysics for one, because this is not physics. This is pseudoscience. But the 18 biggest unsolved mysteries of Neverland. How does Peter Pan fly? It's been baffling us for years, but here's how we think he might do it. Okay, those nearly empty places in our solar system do have some stuff in them. There's solar winds, which consist of thin streams of charged particles, like electrons, moving at super high velocities away from the sun. And there's loose plasma, a form of matter that's widely distributed throughout the universe and that often exists in chaotic, turbulent state. Scientists observe those electrons in the solar wind absorbing the energy of the electromagnetic waves passing through the turbulent plasma of Earth's magnetosphere. Once the energy was absorbed, it turned into heat. The magnetosheath is the region where Earth's electromagnetic field most directly meet the solar winds. Now, do we notice any of this stuff on the ground? Or is this all just, let's see. It wasn't affect researchers had observed before in less complex situations on Earth, but never in the chaotic turbulence of Earth orbit. Researchers found the effect in data from the Magnetospheric Multiscale mission. That project includes 4 robotic spacecraft measuring how our planet's electromagnetic field interacts with the sun. In data from that extreme environment, researchers were able to tease out how energy in electromagnetic waves passing through the plasma turn into heat in the electrons. It was an effect never before seen in this sort of chaotic natural setting. For the effect to work, the electrons and waves had to be moving at similar speeds. The electric field associated with waves moving through the plasma can accelerate electrons moving with just the right speed along with the wave. To a surfer, kind of like a surfer catching a wave. That's how co-researcher Greg Howes, Howes, of the University of Iowa said in a statement. Adding energy to the electron causes them to heat up. The researchers said that their results, published today, February 14th, in the journal Nature Communications, could help explain the universe's oddly high temperatures. And their methods, they said, point the way forward to more detailed studies of how energy moves through plasmas in space. Hey, Clavicus Knox. Howdy. Oh, so I was always see they're actually doing the stuff that I kind of want to do, but in reality, in sending up balloons and measuring the electric field at the same time all over the place. So you know what the sun is doing, just what the electric field. I think that would tell us so much about this place if we knew what the electric field, how it acted. I think it controls so much. Um, I don't know if you could know its shape. I'm not sure. Maybe. Wow. Maybe you could. Long time lurker. Yeah, I don't get too many watching this early in the morning. I just got done doing the show on TFR though. And I, 'cause, 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 ' Just felt like chatting, getting some space lettuce out, going over what's going on in space.com. Could volcanic activity allow water beneath the Martian polar ice? Blah, 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 blah. Come on. I'm on a laptop trying to drag stuff around. Okay, NASA wants help from private companies to land astronauts on the moon by 2028. I mean, really? You get all the money in the world. Oh, thanks, Clavicus. These people get all the money in the world. Now they're asking help from the private sector. NASA is officially looking for ideas from private companies to develop future lunar technologies with responses due to the by the end of next month. In addition, the agency published its methodology for bringing crewed missions back to the lunar surface. The moon has had a big 2019 so far. China's Chang'e 4 lander mission achieved the first soft landing on the far side of the moon at the start of January. Then millions of people across North and South America enjoyed a mesmerizing lunar eclipse dubbed the Super Blood Wolf Moon on January 21st this year. NASA is also commemorating a major lunar milestone. The agency will celebrate the 50th anniversary of the iconic Apollo 11 mission that brought astronauts Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins to the moon to take that incredible giant leap for mankind. Collins remained in lunar orbit. Watch a meteor smack the blood moon in this lunar eclipse video. In a statement published on February 7th, NASA laid out how it will work with U.S. companies to develop reusable systems through which astronauts could return to the moon by 2028. Only 9 years away, folks. Not even a decade. And we can be on the moon. It'll only take us a decade. Using current and anticipated technologies, NASA will work to complete the mandate laid out by the Presidential Administration Space Policy Directive 1 as quickly as possible, agency officials said. Okay, we're going to bring up something else here real quick. I'll just finish reading. I wanted to bring up George Bush saying that we're going to have a base on the moon by 2010. That was in 2001. To be multi-phased and perhaps include collaboration with other nations to advise our missions to farther destinations, such as Mars, with America leading the way, NASA Administrator Jim Bridenstine said in a statement. Technology already operating in low Earth orbit will serve as a springboard for development on the reusable lunar systems. This is just all such nonsense. Technology already operating within low Earth orbit, blah, 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 blah. Let me scroll down here. There's my scroller. Well, it's being a pain in the butt. There we go. One important element in NASA's approach is the establishment of a gateway that could support round-trip lunar journeys. This would allow the first building blocks for fully reusable lunar landers to be refueled by cargo ships carrying fuel from Earth to the gateway, agency officials said. But that would be just the start. Going forward, the fuel might come from the moon itself. Part of the project is to find methods of making rocket propellant with the water, ice, and regolith, lunar dust, from the moon in a process known as in situ resource utilization, ISU-RU. Okay. They want to make fuel. Rocket propellant is fuel, right? They want to make fuel out of water. Hey, Sandra. So they want to make fuel out of water on the moon. We don't want to do that here on Earth. You know, the most abundant substance that we have. Should we try and make fuel out of that so we have to stop pulling all this crude, disgusting, nasty black tar stuff out of the ground and burning that? Should we figure out a way to use water here and use it as a propellant, a rocket propellant, or a fuel? No, no. You did not miss any crucial scientific info. Don't worry, Liz. No, I was just okay. Listen, this is blowing my mind. But approach your status in gateway, blah blah blah. Okay, so they want to put an ISS around the moon in lunar orbit, but that would just be the start. Going forward, the fuel might come from the moon itself. Part of the project is to find methods of making rocket propellant with water, ice, and regolith, lunar dust, from the moon in a process known as in situ resource utilization. Okay, I'm just going to go on. The formal request for the proposals that NASA published on February 7th is part of Appendix E to the second Next Space Technologies for Exploration Partnerships. Next Step 2, Broad Agency Announcement. In this request, NASA aims to fund flight demonstrations of lunar landers made for astronauts by private companies that would perform critical research and support risk reduction activities. March 25th is the deadline for responses. So they actually give a deadline for something. And you can follow blah, blah, blah by doing blah, blah, blah. Whoever wrote this, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I'm just doing some space lettuce. We usually do this stuff on Ironworks. Postcard from Mars. The amazing photos of Opportunity and Spirit rovers have done groundbreaking science. Let's go read about the groundbreaking science taking place on the surface of the red planet. I love when they use words like science. It just makes me think about Nathan Oakley ripping these people apart and asking them how they applied the scientific method here. Science. Groundbreaking scientism. This is groundbreaking, the stuff that we got you people to believe. What they're saying. Okay, this is from 3 days ago. Postcards from Mars, blah, blah, blah. I don't care about the photos. I love how they call them photos. Amazing photos. I saw all kinds of stuff like that out in the desert. Things that look just like that. Gosh, lots of pictures here. Okay, we're not going to go on this one. I just have a hard time without the mouse scrolling all over this. Let's see here. Ah, they keep taking me back to the same place. Yeah, space lettuce. What are you going to do? I mean, seriously. The only reason so many people believe in this stuff is because they don't care about it at all. Either way, they don't care about it. Whether it's real or if it's fake, it's not affecting their lives, they think. But it's really the validation that you're living on a speck of dust floating through nothing. That's what they're validating. And that thought doesn't even cross most people's minds. You know, the fact that they're shaping the minds, especially of the children. I remember I did not buy any of this stuff. I had to be, you know, told this is just how it is. That is the way it is, you know. I didn't believe it, but hey, Jamie Brown, what's going on, man? Just going over some what been going on this week at NASA. And what they're talking about. Well, it's space.com. Let's see. Okay. Here we go. SpaceX protests NASA launch contract award. So Elon Musk is protesting, maybe. Let's see. What do we have here? This is in cooperation with Space News, space.com. This is by, who is this by? Jeff Faust. SpaceX argues that it can carry out the launch on NASA's Lucy planetary science missions at lower cost than what NASA is paying ULA for an Atlas V launch. Washington. SpaceX has filed a protest over the award of launch contract to United Launch Alliance for a NASA planetary science mission, claiming it could carry out the mission for significantly less money. The United Launch Alliance, the ULA. The protest, filed with the Government Accountability Office, the GAO, February 11th, is regarding a NASA procurement formerly known as RLSP 35. That contract is for the launch of the Lucy mission to the Trojan asteroids of Jupiter. awarded by NASA to ULA January 31st at a total cost to the agency of $148.3 million. $148.3 million. That's just insanity. When you say these amounts of money and then you realize that it's just, I don't know, that's crazy to me. I'm thinking a lot about money lately. Here, I'll go on. The GAO documents did not disclose additional information about the protest, other than the office has until May 22nd to render a decision. NASA said that, as a result of the protests, it's halted work on the ULA contract. NASA has issued a stop work order on the agency's Lucy mission after a protest of the contract award was filed with the Government Accountability Office. That was all in quotation marks. Agency spokesperson Tracy Young said February 13th. Now, I don't know. It seems like they wrote half of that up there and then they went and had her go ahead and say it. In quotations, NASA is always cognizant of its mission schedule, but we are not able to comment on pending litigation. SpaceX confirmed that the company was protesting the contract, in parentheses, in quotations, I mean. Since SpaceX has started launching missions for NASA, this is the first time the company has challenged one of the agency's awarded decisions. Just a company spokesperson says. Hey, weed man. SpaceX offered a solution with extraordinarily high confidence of mission success at a price dramatically lower than the award amount. So we believe the decision to pay vastly more to Boeing and Lockheed for the same mission was therefore not in the best interest of the agency or the American taxpayers, the spokesperson added. ULA is a joint venture of Boeing. Oh, that's what it is. I was like, ULA, who is ULA? Who is this? So Boeing and Lockheed Martin have now joined forces because they don't like all the money SpaceX is getting from NASA that they used to get. NASA said at the time of the award it was a competitive procurement, but did not disclose the number or identity of bidders. SpaceX did not comment at that time if it submitted a bid, although industry sources speaking on background said that SpaceX proposed launching the expendable Falcon 9 rocket in order to maximize performance. A key factor in the decision to award the contract to ULA was schedule certainty. Okay, a key factor in the decision to award the contract to ULA was schedule certainty. So they were certain that they could get it done on time, I guess. Lucy has a complex mission profile with a series of flybys in order to visit several asteroids, either leading or following Jupiter in its orbit around the Sun. That results in a launch window that is open for only about 20 days in October 2021. Should the launch miss that window, the mission cannot be flown as currently planned. ULA emphasized its adherence to schedule and its announcement of the contract. The mission has a once-in-a-lifetime planetary launch window, and Atlas V's world-leading schedule certainty, coupled with our reliability and performance, provided the optimal vehicle for this mission. Tori Bruno, president and chief executive of ULA, said in a January 31st statement about the launch award. Wow, so Boeing and Lockheed Martin started something called the ULA. Hey, Adam, what's up, cuz? How we doing? Always a pleasure to have the Adam Meekin in the house. Just going over some space lettuce. Did you catch a lot of the show with Sarah? She was amazing. We could probably talk for like 10 hours with her, no problem. Okay, launch award. Well, it's always a pleasure to have you, man. Hope you're having a good day. Can't wait to see you this afternoon over on Iron Realm Media, starting at 4:30 Central Time. It was a good one. Amazing guest. Um, I'm not even going to get into all the stuff that we were covering. We were jumping all over the place. But yeah, she was amazing. Sarah, very cool. Flathead Politics. Howdy, welcome. They were talking about the Lucy missions that are supposed to be taking place. Um, it says October of 2021, and you only have about 20 days for the window. And Lockheed Martin and Boeing have started a new company called the ULA, and they are now getting bids that should, or most would think, would have gone to SpaceX because they do it cheaper. But this is the reason why Boeing and Lockheed Martin are getting these contracts. So the ULA entered into an, this is in quotation marks right here. ULA entered into an open competition for NASA's Lucy spacecraft and was honored to be awarded this important science mission. Science. I love when they use that word. Important science mission. And that's even in blue. That's funny. End quotation. ULA said in a February 13th statement to Space News. God, I love that. This is all quoted now. ULA entered into an open competition for NASA's Lucy spacecraft and was honored to be awarded this important science mission. This planetary mission has an extremely narrow launch window in order to reach all of the desired planetary bodies and accomplish the science objectives. Science. Let's say science a couple more times. Let's get it in there. If Lucy misses the launch window, the full mission cannot be accomplished for decades. And that would be detrimental to science. No, I added that last part in there. They ended it on decades. Blah, blah, blah. Story added by Space News. Blah, 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 blah. Such nonsense. So they want to go follow asteroids around that are in orbit with Jupiter. They want to do science on these asteroids. So let us know what you think. I mean, no matter what shape you might think it is, you should know that this is all nonsense. The stuff NASA claims to do, um, just the buffoonery that has been shown to be taking place on the ISS up there should tell you all you need to know about NASA. I mean, they've been caught lying so many times. They don't have their hand in the cookie jar. They have a vacuum in the cookie jar, just sucking out our delicious cookies every day. You know, like over 50 million of them every single day. That should be our cookies. You know, hey Tucker, welcome. Yeah, it's not okay. It really isn't. The stuff that is And this has nothing to do with how it makes people feel or the state of mind it helps put people in, or the nothing to do with the shape of the earth or anything to do with anything like that. The fact is that these people are lying about what they are doing. And it's not as though we are paying them to lie to us. They are taking things from us. They're taking the money from our pockets and using it to lie to us. And I know people say, oh, the money isn't real and this and that. And I understand that completely. But you go to the grocery store. Yeah, you're right. Exactly, Jamie Brown. They are doing nothing of benefit to humanity. Um, I don't get preachy and I don't get too biblical or anything like that. But if there's one thing, if Jesus was real and all that stuff and anything that he actually said was kept, I believe it would be the truth shall set you free. And I understand that. I understand or comprehend that, I should say. I comprehend that more now than ever. The truth will truly set you free. You you don't need people's permission when you know the truth. You understand that it's not their right to give you permission. Things I don't know, but the truth does set you free. And once you realize that a lot of this is just a show, folks. I mean, everything you read, see, or hear on television, on advertising, on billboards, on our phones, it's not real. It's how they want things to be, you know? It's how they are trying to make it. Um, Being out there on the road for those 4 months or so, I'm definitely going to do that stuff again too, for sure. I will. I'm going to go make a little nest egg, making amazing medicine for people. Exactly. Well, yeah, they can't interact with adults. Yeah, I'm going to stay on NASA. Good call. No, you're absolutely right. They can't fool the adults like they do the kids. They have to get them when they're young, and then it's more or less pictures, and they'll use pictures, a lot of pictures, and a lot of stories and words that most people don't read. They'll read the headline, and that'll be it. Like the Mars rover is now out of commission, and blah 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 blah. Because why? Because the solar storm came early and they weren't allowed to get back to this. I bet they start that stupid thing up again. I bet you they figure out a way to do it. At first, it was too dirty, and then all of a sudden, storms came by and cleaned the screens. Just cleaned all the dust and debris and dirt off the solar panels and made them look like they were brand new again. Sure, yeah. Every year they did this over and over. It was supposed to be a 90-day mission that turned into a 9-year mission. This stuff is just. I mean, I work with machinery that is designed to run 24/7, 365, not stop. You know, you might change a part here and there, stuff like that, but they're designed to keep running. And if you're not there to replace stuff, I mean, how much oil, if you were planning on a 90-day mission, how much you put 9 years worth of oil and lubrication into the, the dispersal unit, because they had to have an automatic lubrication system to lube all that stuff up. I mean, I'm sure rust takes place on Mars. All kinds of things happen over there. And so you were planning on a 90-day mission. All right, you're planning, you design this thing, and weight comes into it, and every square inch is so important when they're designing these things, right? Hey, Flatlander. So they're designing this lunar rover to work for 90 days. Now, I've worked with machines that are designed to run, 24/7, long periods of time. And like I said, there are automatic lubrication systems on these things because you can't sit there and run bearings nonstop without having them lubricated occasionally. You can't opening and closing and sliding on parts without putting some grease in there every once in a while. It has to take place. Stuff doesn't keep going unless it has this stuff. It will seize up and stop working. So they designed this thing to run for 90 days on the moon. So that means that in their automatic lubrication systems, they had to have, a little jar of lubrication somewhere that I'm sure was not designed to run that much longer than the 90 days. Maybe they did it for a year, just in case we get lucky and it does run for a year, 4 times longer than it's supposed to. This thing ran on Mars for 9 years. That's insanity. 9 years without being greased anywhere. I mean, this is metal. These are metal moving. This wasn't pieces of plastic. This is a machine. Machines need to be maintained. And if you can't physically maintain it, then there are operating systems that can be put in that will help you maintain it. But it doesn't just pull the material it needs to do this stuff out of thin air. So think about that. For 90 days, the thing is supposed to run. 90 days. It was designed to run for probably not much longer than that. I mean, yeah, batteries and solar panels and things like that. Yeah, those things can run for longer and this and that, but things rust up, seize up if they're not greased and lubed properly. And unless there was Martians out there doing this to these things, and I doubt. I'll be right back, folks. I'm gonna go grab some more coffee. Yeah, 1 second, folks. So yeah, I mean, at least they finally killed the thing, So yeah, the lunar rover is now officially dead. It is no longer active. Doesn't matter. They clean off a nice big storm comes and cleans off the shields. If I'm remembering what I read correctly this morning, I was kind of tired. They did not make it back in time to get it positioned to catch enough sunlight or this or that or yada, yada, yada. So I think it is officially dead. But we were talking earlier about NASA wanting to have they wanted to have an ISS around the moon, like a space station in lunar orbit. That'll happen before the moon base. And then they want to take the moon base and start making fuel for their rockets with water and moon dust. They think they can make some good fuel with water and moon dust. Okay, here we go. Oh, where is that? This will be a good one. This is how it lived so long. They're going to say. Tell us how the. Oh, where was that? Oh, here we go. How NASA's Opportunity Mars rover lived so long. This should be an interesting read. Let's see. It's got pretty pictures on there. NASA's Opportunity Mars rover didn't just luck into its amazing longevity. The golf cart size Oppie and its twin Spirit landed on the red planet a few weeks apart in January 2004, tasked with 90-day missions to look up for signs of past water activity. Okay, you heard that. Tasked with 90-day missions to look for signs of past water activity. Spirit explored its patch of Mars and blah, blah, blah. Opportunity kept rolling until a monster dust storm boiled up around the rover this past June. NASA tried to revive Oppie for more than 8 months, but finally threw in the towel yesterday, February 13th, officially declaring an end to the two robots Mars Exploration Rover MER mission. Okay, it's going to tell us what made it possible for this amazing journey. A combination of factors made it possible for the solar-powered Spirit and Opportunity to exceed their warranty so spectacularly, said MER project manager John Callas, Callas, of NASA's JPL in Pasadena, California. One of these was the Martian weather. The mission team planned for a 90-day life for the rovers because it was thought that it would take about that long for falling dust to blanket the duo's solar panels, effectively choking them out. But strong winds came along and blasted both robots' arrays clean before the robots had to face down their first Martian winter. How sweet. This, on a seasonal cycle, actually became pretty reliable and allowed us to survive not just the first winter, but all the winters we experience on Mars, and to keep going and exploring. Callas said yesterday during the ceremony at JPL announcing the end of the MER mission. The rovers also had the finest batteries in the solar system. Callas added, God. Opportunity's main battery weathered more than 5,000 charge-discharge cycles and still had about 85% capacity left when the mission-ending dust storm hit, he said. Together, the dust-clearing winds and the batteries allowed us to have critical energy we needed to get through the coldest, darkest parts of the winter on Mars and keep exploring, Callas said. Okay. Hold on, it talks about how the great engineering wasn't limited to the batteries, of course. All the other pieces of the Spirit and Opportunity, from their electronic brains to their grippy wheels to their scientific instruments. Wow. To their grippy wheels, were built to last. And they did so for an impressively long time on a cold, dry, radiation-blasted world millions of miles from Earth. So who greased these wheels? That's what I'm asking. All right. I don't care how well you build something. Hey, Nathan Oakley. Welcome, friend. I'm just going through some space lettuce. And they were just explaining how NASA's Opportunity died and blah, 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 and how it was able because it was so well designed and the great engineering. From their electric brains to their grippy wheels to their scientific instruments. Yeah, they're scientific. Yeah, they're claiming they're doing science up there, Nathan. I always think about you when I mention you, when they mention the word science. Oh, my goodness. I'm going to finish this. The rover's handlers deserved a great deal of credit as well, NASA officials have stressed. Both Spirit and Opportunity got into some sticky situations that required creativity, determination, and long hours to rectify. In 2005, for example, Opportunity got stuck in soft sand of a formation the mission team dubbed Purgatory Dune. Oppie's handlers tested possible solutions in a Mars simulating sandbox at JPL and managed to extricate the rover after several stressful weeks. This is all. Yeah, storms that cover things with dust and then the storms that clear the dust away so they can keep running. In addition, the team often drove Opportunity backwards to extend the operational life of its right front wheel, which sometimes drew more than its share of electric current. Okay, but who greased the wheel? These things were supposed to run for 90 days, folks. The mission was designed to run for 90 days. They have things called automatic lubrication systems. If you cannot lubricate something, you can put in a little pump that holds a little canister, and every so many cycles, a little piece of electricity will be sent up to the canister. The canister will then get a little bit of pressure at the top, squeezing some of the lubrication out, therefore lubricating the gears that need lubricated. It was set up for 90 days. 90 days it was designed to run. Even if they did it 4 times as long as it was supposed to, 4 times as long, it would have been a year. This thing ran for like 15 years. It's talking about in 2005, it got stuck. That was 14 years ago. Where are they getting the lubrication? I've worked with things that run for very long periods of time. And it doesn't take long, 200-300 cycles on a lot of things. And it'll need some lube applied to it, pieces of metal moving back and forth. You can't just, it's nonsense. 9 years and dust storms came and just cleaned everything off just in time, like clockwork. We were innovative in problem solving and figuring out ways how to keep this rover going and how to keep it productive and to continue the exploration and scientific discovery, Callis said. Scientific discovery. So what finally killed the 2 robotic pioneers? In 2009, Spirit got trapped in some soft sand. The team tried repeatedly to free the rover but could not do so, and Spirit ended up enduring a harsh winter without the ability to reorientate itself to catch some crucial sun. The rover, which last communicated with the Earth in 2010, was officially declared dead in 2011. Essentially froze to death, NASA officials have said. And Opportunity was done in by an epic, planet-shrouding dust storm. The rover had ridden out several other maelstroms, but the historic storm of 2018 provided to be too much. Intriguingly, Opportunity might have been able to weather this one too, if not for a glitch that occurred just after landing in 2004. Excuse me. Hold on. I gotta go grab Hank. He's barking. Hank, come here. Get your butt in here. Come on. It's too early for you to be barking like that. Come on. You wild man. You wild man. What are you doing out there barking? Who are you barking at? People walking by? Barking at your walking bys? You're just barking at the walking bys? I know. You're not used to being in the city. Huh. It's okay. Just relax for a little bit. Get a drink. Get something to eat. Okay. Just after landing in 2004, back then, a heater on the rover's robotic arm got stuck in the on position, Callis explained. Oppie's handlers decided to shut down everything on the rover, including its survival heaters, every night so that this one wonky heater wouldn't drain away crucial battery power. The rover would get cold, but it would stay just warm enough. When the sun would come up and we would power everything back up, it never got below its allowable temperatures. Callis said of this deep sleep strategy. And what was the lowest temperature? If the team hadn't taken this measure, Opportunity likely wouldn't have lasted long beyond its originally prescribed 90-day life, he added. Again, 90 days. It should have lasted 90 days. When Opportunity lost power during the 2018 Death Storm, however, its mission clock likely got scrambled, preventing the rover from knowing when to enter deep sleep mode, Callis said. So it probably wasn't sleeping at night when it needed to, and that heater was stuck on, draining away whatever energy the solar array were accumulating from the sun to charge those batteries, he said. That might be part of the explanation, in addition to the fact that now it's much colder and darker on Mars. Regardless of the details, both Spirit and Opportunity died honorable deaths on the Red Planet, said MER Principal Scientific Investigator Steve Squires of Cornell University. And the mission's scientific contributions are immense. Scientific. I love it. Both rovers found lots of evidence that Mars was wet billions of years ago, reshaping our understanding of the planet's evolution and its past potential to host life. Indeed, Spirit even found an ancient hydrothermal system showing that at least some parts of the Red Planet once featured both liquid water and an energy source, two requirements for life as we know it. So Squire said he feels good about Opportunity's death and the conclusions of the MER mission. If it's going to end, having it end like this, that's fine, he told Space.com. What a wonderful quote. That's fine. Blah, 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 blah. So it lived so long because of the great engineering and of the grippy wheels and the best battery system in the solar system and magic bearings that never needed to be oiled or greased. That's what does it for me, the magic bearings. I want bearings that just last for 9 years without any maintenance being done. Yeah, exactly. Science fiction. I mean, NASA has already proven themselves to be liars. It's not hard to see this stuff. Like I said, I think so many people just don't care. They, they, it's not affecting them, you know, in their daily life, in their daily grind. I think it's like, I forget how much, maybe like 350 a week or 250 a week for every tax-paying citizen. They get charged. So people don't care. They don't. They really don't. They never take the time to think of what they're actually doing. I mean, okay, so they're lying, but they never think of what they're lying about, how it connects with the world around us, and how the images that they've shown us and the ideas they've put into our heads are so concrete in so many people's minds that it shapes their reality and how they the type of people they are. I mean, it really does. When you believe you're on a floating speck of dust in nothing and nothing you do matters, and once you die, it's all going to be over, and this and that, you're not worried about what kind of person you are. That's the atheist way of life. Like, who cares? We're all going to die someday anyway, and it's all going to be over, and, I'll be dust. But when this place, it's a little more intimate and this is all there is, and what if there is somebody watching? What if there is a camera up there and there's people keeping score? To get on to the next, you know, the next step, you have to have so many points or this or that, or you have to, I don't know. I don't know how it works. But your state of mind can definitely change the type of person you are. And your beliefs can change how you act. And, you know, it's it's more than just messing with people's beliefs. Your beliefs help shape you in a lot of ways. Because people would act different if they believed different things. Okay, let me see. What's the. There is a. What is it? Heart shaped island seen from space. No, I don't want to watch this. Consider this picture a love letter from planet Earth, just in time for Valentine's Day. This cute new island love space image shows the heart shaped island of Moorea in French Polynesia. But the picture also stands as a stark symbol of climate change, the European Space Agency says. A dose of climate change propaganda. Moorea is part of a chain of islands formed by hotspot volcanism. This means that volcanoes are created by fixed hot areas in Earth's mantle, ESA officials said in a statement accompanying the image, which was taken by the satellite Copernicus Sentinel-2. ESA further explained that plate tectonics, the movement of Earth's surface over time, forces the plate away from the hotspot. This process gradually carries hotspot volcanoes to a new location, while the hotspot new volcanoes form. These kinds of islands are consistently changing, eroding, and sinking back into the oceans over millions of years, ESA added. However, changes are taking place at a much faster rate because of the marks human activity leaves on the natural landscape and because of climate change. Now, what a crock of shit. Okay, they stayed off right at the beginning. These are consistently changing eroding and sinking back into the oceans. This happens over millions of years. But islands pop up and then they sink back down. However, changes are taking place at a much faster rate because of the marks human activity leaves on the natural landscape and because of climate change. So they've been doing this kind of research long enough to know that that's what it is, right? And it shows the picture of the heart-shaped island. They even color it in red. While you may think the image was dyed red just for Valentine's Day, ESA explained that the image processing turns vegetation red, revealing that Moorea is home to a lush ecosystem. Humans have inhabited this island for 1,200 years and continue to alter its vegetation. Another delicate part of Moorea lies just around the island. The coral reef in that area appears pristine for now, ESA said, but like all coral reefs, it faces dangers from ocean plastics, fishing, and pesticide runoff from agriculture. In general, coral reefs around the world are dying in large part due to the rising temperatures, which are linked with ocean acidification and hurt or kill corals themselves. ESA officials said that through images like these, satellites like Sentinel-2 remind scientists and the public how fragile Earth is. The satellite is also part of a network of sentinels that send information back to Earth about climate change and how local ecosystems are responding to that change, helping us learn how to better love the Earth. What a crock of shit. I don't know, folks. I mean, I understand you got to feed your kids and this and that. I don't think I could write this nonsense. I mean, yeah, you can take pictures of it and show this island and how it's starting to sink and this and that and yada, 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 and say that it happens over millions of years. But to go and say that it's due to climate change caused by human beings. And the part that really upsets me is the people paying for this nonsense are the people that are producing the most CO2. You know, they fly around in their private jets, drinking and eating things that have been shipped around from all over the earth. Nothing local. It's all, you know, this from this country and this from that country, and I have this imported and that imported, and I only fly in my own jet and this and that and yada, yada, yada. These are the people that are paying for this nonsense to pull at your heartstrings, to make you feel bad for living and breathing. Gosh, now I understand why I don't go over this stuff very often. It pisses me off. New NASA partnership will spearhead search for life. So who is sticking a hand in the cookie jar with NASA now? Let's see. NASA is launching a new research partnership to tackle the search for life beyond Earth, including life that may look very different from the kinds we're familiar with. The new research partnership, called the Network for Life Detection, will bring together a new NASA center dedicated to astrobiology with academic scientists in order to sort out how life began here on Earth and where it might be lurking elsewhere in the universe. This is in quotation marks. The search for life beyond Earth cannot be one-size-fits-all approach. Tori Holer, a biochemist at NASA's Ames Research Center, who will lead the new astrobiology center there, said in a statement. In quotations, to give ourselves the best shot at success, we need to develop tools and strategies that are tailored to detecting life in the unique conditions of other worlds, which are very different, not only from Earth, but also from each other. So we need more money. We need more money and more sensors and more money. So give us more money. That's what we want. That's what we need. Another research center within the network will focus on how to identify so-called biosignatures, the fingerprints of life. Even life very different from our own, that could be visible from a distance. A third center will focus on current and former ocean worlds, Mars, and the icy moons of our outer solar system. Although the network consists of just 3 teams right now, NASA anticipates bringing in dozens more groups over the next few years to capitalize on the astrobiology research being done across the country. I love when they use words like that. We found this new way to rip off our taxpayers. So right now, NASA anticipates bringing in dozens more groups over the next few years to capitalize on the astrobiology research being done across the country. See, when you change the beginning, you can... it's kind of like ad libs. Instead of saying, although the network consists of just 3 teams right now, it's NASA has just figured out how to rob you in this way. Or since they have just figured out how to rob you in this way, NASA anticipates bringing in dozens more groups over the next few years. You know, we now have the scientific and engineering expertise to address this profound question with the clarity of scientific evidence. And we have a great community of scientists ready for that grand challenge. It's great. And the largest alien planet of TRAPPIST-1 has an atmosphere that evolved over eons. Now they're gonna... Okay, they got me. I'm gonna click on it. They're gonna tell us about an atmosphere of a planet in another solar system. Let's see how they came to this conclusion. I'm very intrigued. Where's the little bar? Okay, I don't know what the 7-planet TRAPPIST-1 is, but the largest of the worlds in the 7-planet TRAPPIST-1 system boasts an atmosphere that has evolved over time, rather than the other that formed with it. Observations made with NASA's Hubble Space Telescope reveal that the planet's atmosphere is different from its nascent environment, meaning it's most likely a rocky world similar to others in the system. This is in quotation marks. This atmosphere is not the one it was born with. Hannah Wakeford, a researcher at the Space Telescope Science Institute in Baltimore, Maryland, told Space.com. A natal atmosphere would be rich in hydrogen, which the researchers don't see. Instead, it's been changed. Okay, in parentheses, it's been changed by different processes, Wakeford said. Atmospheric and geological activity could have played a significant role in the changes. Now, you've seen the pictures of Pluto, right? That the Hubble can take? It's like nothing. It's like a little tiny dot, a speck. That's Pluto in our solar system. Okay? That's in our solar system. We can barely see Pluto. Barely see it. It's like a little dot to the Hubble. But Wakeford and her colleagues used Hubble to study TRAPPIST-1G, the 6th planet from the star. They had previously probed the atmospheres of the first 5 planets. identified by the letters B through F, and found that all 5 planets lack the massive hydrogen atmospheres that indicate gas giants, making them more likely to be rocky. Their previous study had not been precise enough to determine whether or not TRAPPIST-1 carried its original atmosphere. Okay, they had previously probed. How are they doing this? G was the last question mark in that. Wickford said, just like its brothers and sisters, it doesn't contain its primordial atmosphere. It's got an evolved atmosphere. She presented the results in January, blah, 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 Astronomical Society in Seattle. Okay. In 2016, astronomers at Chile's transiting planets and Planetesimals small telescope announced their discovery of 3 planets around the dim star TRAPPIST-1. So yeah, this is a star, folks, they're talking about. 4 more worlds were discovered within a year. So they have 7 within the habitable zone of the star. The region of liquid water would be able to... Large, estimated 1.1 times the mass of Earth. This is... Okay, with the Hubble, they could barely see Pluto. And they're saying they're seeing planets around other stars. And then telling you what their atmospheres are like. I can't even read this nonsense anymore. This is just so stupid. Nola Taylor Redd, R-E-D-D. I don't know. That kind of stuff just dumbfounds me. How people actually... I don't know. Are these people real that are saying that they're finding this stuff, that are doing this? Are they taught that, hey, this is a planet when this happens? So every time you see this happen, you've discovered a new planet? I mean, do they believe this stuff? Or are they lying? I don't know. I don't know. Debates are on in about 10 minutes. Yeah. I'm going to get going here, folks. I'm going to give my mom a call before she heads off for work. Amazing woman. Raising kids, 69 years old, still works at a daycare, loves it. Not sure what she would do without it, you know? She loves raising kids. She does like infants to 4-year-olds. Yeah. Super patience. I hope one day I'm that patient. But yeah, that was fun all. Thank you for joining me. Yeah, I love you, cuz. Have a great day, Adam. Don't work too hard, all that good stuff. Do your thing. I'm going to go start some painting, listen to the debates. Doing all the cutting in. I don't know why I enjoy it so much around window trims and stuff like that, but I think I just love the way it looks when you're done. A good feeling. But yeah, I'm going to do some more of that. Hopefully finish up the front and the side today. Michael Rutledge, last comment didn't make it. I don't see any. It says storms that cover things with dust and storms that clear dust. That was the last one I saw you put down, Michael. That's Marie's job. Yeah, something about just the taking your time and making it just right and perfect. It's peaceful. You know, it's like doing a model, painting your model, or I don't know. To each their own, as they say. But I love you, and I will see you this evening, man. It should be a fun show tonight. They always are. So yeah, if you are up, come join us on Iron Realm Media tonight at 10:30 UTC time and 22:30. I don't know, Michael. I don't see anything where it says you put a. Oh, I see one. No, that's not you, Michael Mack. But yeah, I'm out of here. I got to get Mom on call before she gets going to work. So love y'all. Thanks for joining me. It's always fun. It's a good time for us signing out. As always, thanks for watching.